Hello, everyone. My name is Brandon Faulkner. I'm an intern for VillageCore. For other events like this, be sure to check out villagecore.org or check out our YouTube channel where we upload these meetings in case you miss them. Today, we'll be navigating Zoom and how to exactly use Zoom and how to make sure that you can have calls whenever you want, free and easy using Zoom. So Zoom is a meeting service. Essentially, what it does is it kind of brings everybody together under one platform where you can host business calls, you can host different things like let's say you want to run a project by somebody and you aren't exactly in the same place. You two can hop on a Zoom call and share your screen, and then perform the task at hand. And funny enough, these meetings are run through Zoom calls. So right now, I am on Zoom hosting this meeting, which will eventually be uploaded to YouTube through the recording function. So I'll get to that in a little bit and how all that works. But as of right now, this is where you come to kind of sign up and get ready for Zoom. So when you hit the sign up free button, essentially what you have to go through first is you have to verify your age. So you'll type in your age, you'll see that you have a basic account, which means that you have unlimited meetings for up to 40 minutes. And then you can have 100 people in your Zoom meetings at a time. There is an upgraded version where you can have longer meetings as well, and then also have more people within your Zoom call. There's also automated captions to help you make your meetings more inclusive. So this means if somebody is hard of hearing or somebody's not in the space where they can necessarily listen to the call, they can turn on the captions and they can read what people are saying right there live as the other participants are speaking. There's also this secure HD quality video and audio. So the video that you are seeing right now is coming out of my MacBook camera, and then as well, the microphone that I'm using is my MacBook microphone, and those are being picked up by Zoom right now. There's also three editable whiteboards, which allows you to draw on them, which allows you to brainstorm ideas with other people and kind of connect different ways of thinking throughout the participants in the group. There's also the team chat for collaboration, file sharing, and more. So when you're in a call, you can actually share files in between each other simply by using the chat feature. So if we see down here, if I were to pull up my section here, we can see that I can chat with everybody in the meeting, or I can switch it to solely talking to one person, or other things like that, if I want to make a little group. There's also Zoom Mail and Calendar within the Zoom app. So if you're somebody who has meetings regularly, let's say it's for work, let's say it's for a project that you're doing at school, or let's say you and let's say a therapist have calls that are going on weekly, you can schedule that within the Zoom app and you can make sure that you never miss those meetings, just like you should never miss these meetings when we're hosting the TechXpert events, so you can stay up to date on cool things like Zoom. There's also notes for creating and sharing other editable documents. So this means that you can pass notes back and forth. You can share them. You can write on them. You can pass them around, make sure that people are getting the proper message across and other things like that. And then there's also screen sharing, virtual backgrounds, breakout rooms, and local recordings. So the screen sharing aspect is what I'm using now to show you this page while I'm talking. The virtual backgrounds are essentially to make sure that the background isn't something that you don't want to show. So let's say there's a lot of activity happening in my background and I don't want to show that. I can I can have a virtual background that covers all that up and you can only see me just like I have now, where there's a library behind me, and you can only see me present at this very moment. The breakout rooms are essentially a way for you to make sure that people are having conversations privately. So let's say you have 100 people in the chat and you don't necessarily want people talking to each other one at a time. With 100 people talking at once, that'd be a big old mess, but luckily you can break out into different rooms. So let's say you want 10 people in a breakout room. So you'll have 10 different breakout rooms that you can navigate through and you can listen to people's conversations and other things like that. So now let's actually explore Zoom since we are currently on Zoom. So when you download Zoom, it'll pop up as Zoom US. Essentially, what you go through is when you download the app, you'll either be taken straight into the app or you'll be prompted to log in with your email and other things like that. So since I'm already logged in and since this is already running, currently I just need to go back to, I need to go here. No, no, my window is not getting bigger. Well, okay. Here we can look at the different aspects of what's happening within the meeting as I'm speaking to you guys right now. So we have options like the mute button, which I won't activate right now because I will mute myself by accident. But essentially, what you can do is you can look at the different microphones that are going on within your background. So you can change different microphones, like let's say you have an external microphone that you're using and that you like to use. You can pair it to your computer and get that running right there on the computer as well. And you can switch to that. There's also different speaker systems that you can choose from. So let's say you have other speakers that you are utilizing. You can make sure that those are in full effect and use whenever you're hosting a Zoom meeting or anything like that. There's also a way to test the speaker and microphone, switch to phone audio, which with Zoom meetings, you can actually access them on your phone using either phone numbers or you just simply using the Zoom app. And then there's also the leave computer audio, which will turn off all computer audio and things like that. Your video settings should work exactly the same. If you have an external video camera that you're using, let's say that could be something for a desktop, seeing as they don't have cameras built into them. This means that you can access it and then people can still see you while you're on the Zoom meeting. You can also blur your background. So if there's something that's happening in your background or there's something that you don't want people to see in your background, you can blur the background so it creates so it only focuses on you. You can choose your virtual background, which allow you to basically cover up your entire background. There's video filters, which allow you to kind of play around with different settings, make it look pretty, make it look scary, other things like that. And then you can also choose an avatar. So this means that you have somebody talking for you and other things like that. And then there's also different video settings as well. Whoops. There's also the security features. So the security features essentially allow people to kind of share screen, chat, rename themselves, all that good stuff. You can set these settings as you wish. So if I wish for all participants not to share their screen, I can deactivate that and nobody can share their screen but me as the host or my co-host. Uh, um, there's also the chat function. You can turn off the chat or make it so that only people who have access to the chat can chat. You can turn off videos, turn off notes, you can turn off people unmuting each other and other things like that. So here are the different kinds of safety features. You can also lock the meeting, which means that people will need different kind of permissions to get into the meeting. You can also look at the participants that are going on in the meeting. So this means that you can see the different people who are in the meeting. You can mute them, you can ask them to mute, you can chat with them, you can ask to start their video, or you can remove their pin if you have them pinned. And then as well, you can mute all, or you have other options as well down here, or you can invite people to your meeting. We also have the chat function, which I showed you, where you can add emoticons, you can add files, you can add signatures. So if you're wanting to kind of like sign something, you can do that here. You can allow chats with different people. And then as well, there's the start summary. So I believe this is basically where you activate the captions feature. If in case you don't have the opportunity to hear the meeting, you can activate that captions option, and then everything that I'm saying currently will be translated into English for you to read. And then you can get that going and you can keep up to date with the video and the meeting that is going on. There's also AI components. So you can ask different AI components as well. So there's like an AI companion that can ask questions about things that are discussed. And then they can also temporary make a temporary transcript on the meeting. So this basically means that if you want somebody who's asking questions in your meeting, that you can kind of read, the AI will do that, and it'll allow you to kind of jump back and forth between things that people may have general questions on. There's also the share screen feature. So if I were to click this, I'd be able to select what screen I want to share. I can connect it to an iPhone slash iPad via AirPlay. So I could be on my laptop here and then share something on my phone. I can also connect it via cable. I can select specific windows. So if I don't want to show everybody my background and other things like that, I can solely focus on a specific video, a specific screen, and that will only pop up on their end. And you can also see the different windows that are open that you can access. All right. Yes, let's share. And then as well, there's the pause share. So if you want to take a minute from sharing your screen in order to type in some sensitive information or simply just not show anybody what's happening on your computer at that very moment, you can pause the share and then resume it, which basically means that nobody can see what's going on until you reactivate it. There's also different apps that you can have with Zoom. So these could be like meeting recordings with AI, music, different types of graphics, only Office, which is allows people to collaborate with different Office features, and there are other things like that. These apps you can get, and then they'll be within your Zoom meetings that you can access under the apps feature, and you can tinker with them and make sure that everything is running and going. So here we can also see the paused recording. So let's say I were to sneeze within the middle of the meeting. If I had quick enough reflexes, I could pause the recording and it'll simply be like a cut within the video. And then once I hit start recording, then there will be no sneeze that ever occurred to the people who are watching the video later on. If I were to stop the recording right now, whoops, if I were to stop the recording right now, this would end the recording and then a video will be emailed, as well as you being able to access it on the Zoom website or through the Zoom app, where you can watch it back, you can make edits and other things like that. There's also the captions feature, which are, if I were to turn this on, you'd be able to read that transcript of me saying everything. There's also different types of reactions. So let's say I want to give a thumbs up to the people who are watching. So if I were to give a thumbs up, it's not going to do it. But with most meetings, essentially what it'll do is it kind of come through and kind of like show an emoji saying that I am doing a thumbs up, doing a thumbs down, other things like that. If you do want to show those reactions. So there's a little thumbs up emoji in the corner to agree with something that somebody's saying, and other things like that. And then you can also raise your hand if you have a question. There's also hiding the video panel, which the video panel is essentially what's running right now with me showing me on the screen as well. So you can hide that. You can hide the floating meeting controls, which are the controls at the bottom that we're looking at right now. Here, let me move this up a little bit. There we go. We can also share the computer sound. So let's say the sound that is playing on the computer, you might not necessarily be able to hear it, but then I can share the computer sound, and now you can hear everything that is happening on my computer. So you can hear the music that I'm listening to, the video that I'm watching, other things like that. You can also optimize screen share for video clip. So essentially, this allows you to kind of have an editing software, and it makes it easier to edit when you use video clip. And then you can also see meeting info. So you can see the cool features that come with the meeting info and other things like that. And then, of course, you can leave the meeting if you want. If you're done with the meeting, you can leave the meeting, and then you can rejoin whenever you want or whenever your host lets you back in. So this is kind of like a cool way of just using meetings, like we're doing now, how I'm discussing to you how this works. Um, it's also a great way if you just want to check in on somebody, make sure somebody's doing all right, and they don't necessarily have the components to, let's say, FaceTime or something like that, or they're all the way across the world. Um, let's say they're in Shanghai, and you don't have the means to go and visit them in Shanghai. You two can partner through Zoom, and you guys can see each other. You guys can talk to each other, send each other videos, different clips, different files, different emojis, all that good stuff in order to stay connected with them. So Zoom works all around the world, and it connects you with everybody who you might think of, and it's a really great way to see the other person on the other end. So this could be used for, let's say dinner parties. I I have a friend whose mom was not able to attend Thanksgiving because she is a active service member, and she was stationed abroad for quite a while. And so when Thanksgiving came around, they used Zoom actually to have Thanksgiving with her and kind of bring the whole family together under one roof to still celebrate the holiday, despite the complications of being stationed abroad. So Zoom is a great way to do things like that. You can watch movies together and other things like that. Zoom is just a really great way to kind of utilize all these different things. You can join different groups that you may be interested in and things like that. So that's really all I have to offer about Zoom. Once again, my name is Brandon Faulkner. I'm an intern for Village Core. For other events like this, be sure to check out villagecore.org or check out our YouTube channel in case you miss any of these meetings. Thank you so much for watching.